Hello, welcome back to the Loan Saver demonstration video. This is part 2. We'll touch on some topics such as risk-based lending, some success stories, bragging, a little bit of behind-the-scenes tools, the admin system, which includes rate editing, updates, lead tracking, and performance data. So first up, as you can see on the screen, we're looking at the live demonstration of the system. And as you can probably notice, we're looking at a pretty low rate here. The auto loans were at 1.49%. This scenario is most likely an as low as type of approach, and that's what we do recommend. This definitely gets you the most bang for the buck as far as getting the loan leads in the door. And then, once you get them on the phone and you're talking to these members or potential members, you can get into the nitty-gritty of their financial situation. Tell me a little bit about your home equity, about your credit score, what's the right set of solutions for you. However, we do have many credit unions that use risk-based lending, and for some of them, they still choose to go with the as low as approach. For others, they choose to use a feature that we've added that allows the member to self-evaluate their credit score. So let me show you what that looks like. This is in a live credit union page at Credit Union of Ohio. First, just to take as a little sidetrack here, take a look at their design work. They've done a great job of designing Loan Saver really seamlessly into their website. They've done this nice graphic up top. They've incorporated it in the Loan Saver Challenge. This is essentially providing an incentive for the members to go in there and do the calculations. And we've seen that kind of work, getting the members deeper into the process, getting them to actually do calculations, does result in significantly higher lead capture rates. So it's recommended that you do whatever you can to get members in there and get them actually calculating. And as you can see, CU of Ohio is doing that by offering a bounty. If you do these calculations and we can't save you money, we'll pay you $50. So there's a variety of ways to do that. Getting back on topic, as you scroll down here, you can see the CU of Ohio Loan Saver interface has been customized with their colors, their layout, their loans, and their custom instructions. And as part of their custom instructions, as you can see, it includes an evaluation field here. I would describe my credit as, and then there's a drop down. In this case, they're using 4 credit tiers: excellent, good, fair, and poor. You can use up to 6 different tiers and provide different examples and rates and calculations for each of those tiers. And you can provide a text descriptor for each level. So in this case, excellent, good, fair, poor. You could also go with softer marketing language like great, okay, and uh-oh, for example. Or you could put full numeric ranges in here and do all 6 and really define your terms. It's really up to you as to how you want to put this in front of the members. Keep in mind, though, that you are at the mercy of the members, first of all, to know and understand what their credit tier is, and second of all, to be honest about it. So, we can do our best to provide the best estimate possible, but it is just that. This is a marketing piece, it's an estimate, and it should follow the same rules that your other marketing materials follow on the website. So let's take a look at how it works. Right now I've got excellent, and I've filled in a little loan example here, $25,000 car loan, 7%, 50 months. At this case, we're showing a 2.49% APR for people with excellent credit. And when you calculate that, we're looking at $2,550 in savings. If I go back and say, well, maybe my credit's only good, we do an instantaneous reevaluation. We switch to a 5.74% APR for that same product. The example's been reevaluated. The calculations drop down to $727 in savings. The subtotals would all be updated. The combined savings score would all be updated. All this happens instantaneously. So it really allows the members to see multiple scenarios and see what would likely be their most realistic savings number. And that information will be included when the lead is sent to your team. So to let you know that this person chose good credit, for example. So that's how that works. We do recommend you go with the as low as approach, but if you need to do a risk-based lending type of approach in your Loan Saver estimates, we can do that. And you could even do it so you have multiple implementations. So perhaps for an internal version where you're having people walk through the system with you, you could include the tiered version. And for more public-facing general marketing needs, you could go with an as low as approach. The cool part is that it all uses the same admin tools, uses the same rates, the same tracking system, the same lead capture. So it doesn't increase your work, it just makes it a little bit more specific. That's a good segue actually to look at the admin tools. How is this thing kept up to date? Well, this is a 24/7 hosted admin system. So this is something that you could get into from anywhere as long as you have the username and password. You could go home at night and remember that you needed to update your rates and log in and get it done. It's intended to be non-technical, keep it simple. When you go to the Rates Editor tab, you're going to see something that looks like your loan saver. It's going to include your loan products in there, but now the instructions are for you in how to do the editing. If you go to the Auto Loan tab, for example, you can control the example values, example balance, APR, and term. You can control your own APR, so you could go in here and make an edit to your auto loan rate. You would click Calculate to come up with a new savings number, and then you're ready to go. So you click Save All Values, and that goes live on your website instantaneously. So you have 24/7 direct, immediate control over all the rates and all the disclosures and all the examples. Now in this case, as you can see, we've got a blank box here for the tab disclosure. This is a product level feature wherein you can show a disclosure for each individual product tab that will only be shown when that tab is active. So that gives you the opportunity to show auto loan specific disclosures, save them, keep them up to date. You can go around and change all your different products at once, or you can just change them individually. Whenever you click Save All Values, the entire interface and all the changes therein will go live on your site. Under the Other tab, we also have editing capability over the email alert addresses. So any members of the team that want to receive these live loan lead alerts as they come in, you can put a list of addresses here, or it could go to just one address and that person could be responsible for receiving and distributing the leads as they come in. As you can see, we also have a box here for the main disclosure. This is the disclosure that's always shown underneath LoanSaver regardless of what tab is selected. All the disclosure boxes include full HTML markup, so you could put in italics and EHL logos and links and bolds and all that good stuff. But the idea is to give you direct access over all the moving parts and allow you to save them at any time. So that's the Rates Editor. Next up is our lead reporting interface. Again, we're trying to keep it simple, and I'll show you some dummy test demonstration data here. We'll just set a couple of dates that I happen to know have some demonstration leads in there. You can either download an Excel file or you can view an on-screen web report, and the way it looks when you do that is you get a grid of the leads, and these are obviously test leads, but gives you all the information that's pertinent here, the date, the ID, all the contact information that was collected in that form at the end. So this will be a custom report depending on what you have in your form. And then next to each loan is a little view button which brings up a summary sheet of that particular lead, their contact information, the loans that they entered, and all the details, the balance, APR, and term, the rate that you were showing, the savings that was calculated. So if I was following up on this person, I would have their phone number, their email address, their name, and all the pertinent loan information right at my fingertips. And this is also useful for historic follow-up. For example, once a month you could go through and call these people, make sure they had a great member service experience, see if they got the loan with you, if they did multiple loans, if they left some things on the table, really just to get back in touch with this member and make sure you're optimizing the opportunity for both the member saving money and for the credit union growing the portfolio. So hopefully that's a simple to use interface. The final interface here is worth looking at is our usage and tracking tool. It's got the same user interface, but in this case I'm going to show you some live campaign data. This is from a real campaign. This is a credit union campaign that we would consider to be successfully promoted. And I'll just give you a quick sense here. Again, you can download this as a file or view it on screen. And this is our way of really giving you 24/7 everyday updates on exactly how well the system is working. And hopefully you can zoom in a little bit here and see that you're getting a daily snapshot of performance numbers. Each row is a different date. Each column is a different step through the system from the member's perspective. So the first column is raw page views. Now this is not really a fair way of looking at things because it could be Google bot traffic or somebody hitting refresh or repeated usage. But the idea is to give you a general sense of how many people are getting to your Loan Saver page. So it's an important number to look at. This tells us whether or not you're marketing this thing, whether or not you're getting folks in front of Loan Saver in the first place, and that's obviously a very important aspect of the success of Loan Saver. Now, where we get more interested is the unique interactions column. This is anyone using Loan Saver in an interactive way. So it's not just somebody hitting the page, it's somebody clicking on the tabs, clicking on the next button. We know they're actively engaged, and we record this in a unique way. So then we can look at that from a percentage view and see that our interaction rate is in the high double digits. In this case, probably around 50–55% average engagement rate. So that means 50% of the folks coming to this particular landing page actually got in there and started using Loan Saver. So pretty high engagement rate. Your message is getting out there. It becomes much more interesting when we look at how many people did calculations of any kind. We call that our unique calculator users. This is someone who, more than just clicking on tabs and looking around, is actually entering in calculations, looking at how much they could save. We record this in a unique way so that it's not one person entering in a dozen different loans. Whether somebody enters in one loan or a dozen, we still just count that as one. And that way you can tell what percentage of users are doing any number of calculations. As you can see, the calculation rate in this particular campaign was very high, starting out in the mid-50s and working the way up to much higher numbers. The higher this number is, of course, the more exposure your rates and savings story are getting. So we do encourage you to really get members in as deeply into the process as possible. And where things get really exciting, of course, is when we capture leads directly. But I like to point out that even if somebody just goes in there and uses the calculators, they're getting a very powerful marketing and education experience. And even if Loan Saver ended at before the lead capture component, this would still be a powerful way to boost your loan capture rates, because folks are getting in there, they're seeing the value in their own personal life, and they're going to show up, in the online applications, on the phone, in the branch. So even if we don't capture them as a lead, this is an educational process that has great value. Now, when we do capture them, that means that not only have they seen your rates, they've evaluated multiple lending opportunities in their own personal life, seen the savings potential, filled in the form, and requested that you get in touch with them. So they're essentially asking for multiple loans here. Extremely high qualified lead. So we're not talking about some cold call, type of lead. This is very high quality people come in the door. They're educated, they're excited, they're ready to talk to you. So these are the leads that we're acting on here. We give you that lead capture rate in 3 percentages. The first is not really fair. This is the lead capture rate as a percentage of raw page views. In other words, of all the traffic that came in there, whether it's Googlebot traffic or refresh or garbage, who knows what it is, what percentage of that traffic turned into this highly qualified lead capture? As you can see, we're looking pretty good, even compared to direct mail and banner ads and online, pretty much any other capture type of approach. Even looking at the harsh view of a raw traffic type of view, on a bad day, we're still doing better than a lot of other forms of marketing. Now, a much more fair way of looking at this thing is looking at it as a percentage of actual users. So if somebody gets in there and they're paying attention to Loan Saver, clicking on the tabs, what percentage of those people are captured as uniquely captured high quality leads? And as you can see, the numbers have gone up significantly here from raw pages to users. We're now in the high double digits. So very, very high performance as far as a marketing piece goes. Now, where things get really out of control is if you look at it as a percentage of folks who actually did calculations. What about the people that we really motivated? They entered their loans. Well, as you can see, the rates go up even higher. So this is what percentage of calculating users got captured as fully qualified leads, and it's in the very high double digits. So that's just a way for you to see not only on your side of the fence how much traffic is being sent, but on our side of the fence how well we're converting them and where we're losing them along the way. So this should be able to give you a daily picture of just how well you're doing.